All right, hi Uche.
Hi.
Thank you for being part of this conversation and for coming on board to share a bit more about your journey, career experiences with me. Lovely to have you
Same
here.
here. I'm happy to be on.
Perfect. I have a couple of questions we'll run
Okay.
through and then get into the conversation. So for starters, the first question I like to ask is, so imagine you were creating a time capsule about your career. And you could only fit three items in it. What would these three items be and what story do they tell about your journey so far?
Okay. If I were creating a time capsule and I could only fit in three items and it should sort of capture what my career has been like, I would fit in when I was in uni, at the period where I was at a crossroads between not getting into medicine and figuring out whether I wanted to study physiology. And then just have that in mind. The next bit of that would be one very interesting experience where my mom was trying to get me to work at a bank, and I was just being the stubborn girl that I was, and I was like, hell no. But it led to me crying at Lekki gates. That's another one. And then the third bit would definitely be taking a bold step to networking aggressively. And that led to a lot of like a series of changes as to how I understood marketing and definitely led to where I am right now. So yeah, those three very, very key.
Interesting. I didn't know that you also have a science background
Yeah.
ish.
Yeah.
It seems like most marketers seem to do because I
Oh,
also
that's
do, so it's
interesting.
always really interesting.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
It's always did you end up studying medicine?
No. Thankfully so.
What did you do?
So I studied physiology, and usually the path was if you didn't get into medicine from 100 level, by 200 level you can make a switch where maybe you made like the top 10 of the class in physiology. They would usually move those 10 to medicine, and I worked my butt off for that, but just by a few points I didn't get in, and it broke me for a bit. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I'd love to go more into that, but we're
Yeah.
not here for
Yeah.
medicine. So, but this also takes me into my second question, just a bit more about yourself. Could you tell me and
Yeah.
everyone else who's listening to this a bit more about yourself, who you are as a marketer, but also who you are as a person?
Yes. So a bit more about myself. Um, I'm very interested in like many things, and I think that's one of the traits that helped me as a marketer. I'm a very curious person. Um, I'm a big reader. I read a lot of books, articles, and I'm a big fan of podcasts. I listen to podcasts all the time. I listen to podcasts more than I listen to music, and that's quite interesting. I try to be a sporty babe. Silence for that. But yeah, so I play tennis on the side. I like to, when I can, go swimming, and my interests are quite different from the regular. So yeah, those are parts of me that intersect with marketing and also make part of my personality.
What does it feel like playing tennis?
It is incredible. That's just the word. It's incredible. It's a full body workout. You get to see yourself getting better, and that's one of the things I really like about putting effort into things. When you can see the progress, when you can see that inflection point, it's very important to me. I don't like to just like invest or pour into things that it's like, oh, we don't know, we might not. I want to know that we will make progress. Yeah, so that's one thing you can track, and I really like that.
Interesting. And could you tell us a bit more about yourself as a marketer? And curiously, I'd love to know like a project that you've done so far in your career that has shaped your career significantly.
That's a really good question. So my career in marketing has many parts. Currently, it's in the product marketing phase, And one of the things that I worked on that really shaped my career was I was building this email marketing tool with a friend of mine, and it exposed me to the back end of like production, products, marketing to businesses, creating a subscription model, that sort of thing. Coming from the brand marketing background that I had prior to that project, it was such a switch. But I'm very grateful that I was able to do it. I had the opportunity to do it, and I also pushed myself to really try because at that phase there was something about like stepping into a different terrain that was quite scary. And I feel like a lot of marketers get that way. They're like, oh, but I've known brand marketing for a really long time, or I've known social media for a really long time. This is a little different. I don't feel quite qualified to do it. But then you sort of like learn to do by doing, right? So doing that really helped me. And now I am, full on in product marketing. I'm really grateful for that time phrase. Yeah. That phase of my life. Yeah.
That sounds like a cool
What?
project. Did you launch the
Yes,
project?
yes. We launched the product. We had subscriptions. We had customers. We talked to different like industries, people in different industries. We worked with some NGOs, worked with solo entrepreneurs. Yeah, it was a whole thing. It's really nice.
And is it
Oh yeah.
still on? What's the name?
It's
What's the name?
it's still on. It's called Best Regards. Yeah.
That's your cards. Interesting. Okay. Thanks so much for sharing. That sounds very
It is.
interesting. And I kind of, I think I quite like what you also said about switching your brain a little bit to work on a project or things that are different from what you've always known, especially as math kind of vertical or maybe something entirely different even. Because I think it does something to
Mm-hmm.
your
It really
brain
does.
for coming back refreshed. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to start talking because this is about you. So, but yeah, when and talking about working with even friends to create something, when you work in a team or when you work with a group of people, what values do you anchor yourself with?
So when I work on a team, some of the things I really look out for is the quality of the team. I I'm good at what I do, but I'm only as good as the people I do it with, right? I don't particularly thrive in environments where I'm trying to like be the champion or whatever. I try to work with people that can, push me and people that I can learn from. So a great team, a team that is doing something really good, that is a core value for me. And then secondly, I like a tool and technology curious team. Very important to me because I don't see the point of doing things very like in very mundane or archaic ways when there are innovations that are sort of like sorted that thing out, right? I don't see the point of reinventing the wheel. If this is a system that works, people have tried and tested that it has worked. I would love for us to like move with the moving train. Yeah, so I look out for innovation and a team that's curious about tools and technology. And finally, I look out for integrity. I like to work with people that, they mean what they say what they mean, and I can take that to the bank. It's very important because I've seen the other side of that. And yeah, you don't want to work on a team where people are dodgy.
So curiosity, integrity, and I want to use the word seriousness, but I don't think that's quite what you meant.
More
Focus.
like technologically inclined or like on the lookout for innovation or innovative. I would say innovative, yeah. Yeah.
So how do you balance out? Because you talked about like curiosity about tools and sticking with things that work for and it helps with being effective
Yes.
essentially. Then how do you balance that with exploring new tools or exploring new technology?
So exploring new technology, exploring new tools, again, it really comes down to the team and the people on the team, right? Marketing is very experimental, to be honest. Which we think that this is a tried and trusted system, but a lot of it is just repeated tests and experiments that have proven to be true, or in some cases might need to be tweaked here and there. So having an open mindset to that aspect of marketing is I've benefited from it, and I also like that teams that I work with, either technical or non-technical, like team members, have that mindset as well. So balancing the science and the art of marketing, it's a core part of how I like to run my career. Yeah.
Okay. And what's one innovation in marketing that you're very excited about, and how do you see it shaping the future of the marketing industry?
That's a very fantastic question. I'm sure everyone can guess what I'm about to say. It's the AI. Yes.
I
Um,
figured.
and I say that because it's not like this is just the wave of the time, but really, if you use some of these tools that are available now, it's mind blowing what they can do. And a lot of times our approach is one from where we're scared and we're not too convinced about trying it out, as opposed to embracing these changes because they're happening. And what you don't want is to be left by the wayside or be made redundant because the world has moved from where you are. So yeah, very excited for how marketing is going to be shaped by AI, and how much like better some of the attributions that were previously hard to measure, it's suddenly becoming clearer at. So I really see that being something that's helpful in the field of marketing, and I look forward to doing more with it.
Yeah, aligned on that. And now to the other parts of my questions, because now I want to get into you as a
Yeah.
Smarketer, as a community member. What does being a Smarketer mean to you?
Being a Smarketer is really a breath of fresh air, I would say, in the world of marketing. There's so much context that is sort of cooked up into that community. We share jokes. We also share tips. I would say before the invention or sort of like the popularity of AI, if I knew that Smarketers was like a little community I could run to and say, hey, I'm having problems with this. Can someone help me out with how to go about this, I would have jumped on it like much earlier. So it's like a marketing super tool, but in form of like other people and their experiences with so much context. Yeah, and I really like it.
Thank you. And how did you discover Smarketers Hub, and why have you stayed? Why have you continued to stay?
So I discovered Smarketers when I met Aisha, I think. Yeah, I think that was when I met Aisha. So there's another marketing friend of ours. Like we have a couple mutual marketing friends as well. So there's this friend of mine. Her name is Ifama Amadi. She's a content creator, marketing superhouse herself. And she used to have conversations on Twitter with Aisha, and Aisha's takes were just so you know incredible. And I'm like, who's this person? And just did a bit more research on her. We became more friendly online, and I discovered that she has a community that she runs so brilliantly. And yeah, I was like, I have to be on that, and I did, and no regrets. It's been amazing.
Can you share a bit about if you have used any of the Smarketers of resources or joined any of the programs? Can you share how it's been useful to you?
Oh yes. So the inside marketers room, the book, I have that, and I also attended the in person event. I think that was last year, if I remember correctly. Um, yeah, that was great to witness. Was great to be a part of, and then I also refer to the book every now and again because it has insights from different types of marketers, fields of marketing, and yeah, I think the book is one of the resources that I always like check in with every now and again, and also on the Slack channel, there are so many resources that get shared every now and again, and yeah, I look forward to them all the time. I check them out. Yeah, they've been very useful.
Awesome. And what is your favorite thing to do in Marketers Room?
Complain. My favorite thing to do
Yes.
is, I mean, obviously, it just, I would say decompress. My favorite thing to do is really decompress with a group of people that get it. Like, I post all kinds of memes on there, just like complaining about end of the month, end of the quarter, marketing situations, and it's just a little avenue for you to just let that out. I don't think you can tell that to maybe a product designer and they'll get it. I'm just like, you can't understand, but they get it in the marketers room. So I love that.
Yeah, I remember seeing your recent share about the role of engineering and marketing. And I remember being so
I
confused, like,
saw
what is
that.
going on?
I saw that on LinkedIn. I was like, with
Oh,
a touch of electrician. Wow. Okay.
all right. So, with what you know now about growing, the value of growing through community, how would you advise someone who is thinking about growing their career through community?
Oh yes, that's a really really important question. Um, Advising people who either are starting their careers or trying to make a pivot in their careers about growing through community is really something I think I also learned a lot of that from Aisha and some of the other amazing marketers on that group. I think you don't see the benefit of something that you haven't experienced, but don't sort of like remove yourself from experiencing it. Community is really 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 important, especially when you're trying to sort of chart a different course in either your career or you're trying to make a pivot in your career. These people have done it before or they're currently doing it. So rather than searching the World Wide Web endlessly without direction, it's basically them sort of like narrowing that, research process and guiding you properly because either they've had the experience or they can connect you with people who have had the experience. So I would tell any marketer or anyone who's really just like starting out their careers that really don't underestimate the importance and the value that comes with community. It's so understated.
Thank you. And what is your hope for the future of your career?
My hope for the future of my career. I look forward to how much more I can do because like I can see the trajectory and I'm incredibly proud of it. But I also know that there's so much potential for more. And yeah, I don't have like a 5 year plan or a 10 year plan. I'm just like, let's see what we can do next. Yeah, so I look forward to that.
And would you like to give a shout out to any marketer that has had a very big impact in your career so far? Or just any marketer, actually. It's up to you.
Sure. So I'd like to give a shout out to one of my favorite marketers. I would call her my big sis in the industry. Her name is Oge Agu. Oge Agu is she means so much to me. Basically, the same career path, or sorry, educational background. She also wanted to do medicine, and then she pivoted into physiology, and ended up in marketing. And I think I was straight out of uni when I met her, and she put me on track. I was like, you can do this. This is something. If you're interested, you make um, you make a good career for yourself. And she also put her money where her mouth was and gave me my first job. So shout out to again.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for sitting in this conversation with me. It's been really
Same
nice
here.
just listening to you. I wish I could ask more questions, but I know we're out of time and yeah, but thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
so
That's been
much, Tashi.
lovely.
It was lovely chatting with you.